The Neighbor's Meat Part 2. When I got home, Mom met me at the door. "You're back already. What's in the bag?" "Madam Esther gave us some meat," I said. I couldn't refuse because I didn't want to offend her. Mom smiled and took the package. "That's kind of her. We still have food tonight, so we'll cook it tomorrow." The next morning I woke up before Mom. Since I usually had coffee and bread for breakfast, I decided to cook the meat for her. I soaked it in water, then rubbed it with salt and fresh calamansi juice. An old coworker had once told me it helped remove the smell of raw meat. The moment the salt and calamansi touched the meat, everything changed. I froze. The fresh meat suddenly turned dark and rotten. A horrible stench filled the kitchen. Thick white maggots burst from the flesh and dropped onto the sink. My hands shook so badly that I dropped the jar of salt. "Mom," I shouted. She rushed into the kitchen, still half asleep. "What happened?" I couldn't answer. I only pointed at the sink. The moment Mom saw the meat, her face turned pale. After I explained everything, she became furious and started cursing our neighbor. Without saying another word, she wrapped the rotten meat in banana leaves, grabbed a handful of salt, and marched toward Madam Esther's house. I followed behind, afraid something terrible might happen. Mom pounded on the metal gate. "Esther, come out here." No one answered. Instead, the window slammed shut from inside the house, as if whoever was there didn't want to face us. Mom stared at the house. "I know what you're trying to do," she shouted. "We've known each other for years. Leave my son alone." She threw the rotten meat into their yard, scattered the salt, and whispered words I had never heard before. Then she looked at the house one last time. "If anything happens to my son, I know someone who will make both of you pay." I had no idea what she meant until she finally told me the truth.
On the way home, Mom finally told me the truth. Madam Esther and her husband weren't ordinary people. They were flesh-eating witches. According to Mom, they had taken a liking to me and wanted to turn me into one of them. The rotten meat was part of their ritual. I couldn't believe what I was hearing, but after seeing the meat change with my own eyes, I had no choice. A week later, the couple suddenly disappeared. The neighbors said they packed their belongings overnight and moved away. No one knew where they went, and no one wanted to find out. 2 years later, Mom passed away. Before she died, she left me a small wooden box and told me not to open it until I had settled into a new home. After moving to another town for work, I finally opened it. Inside were several old torn pieces of paper covered with strange symbols and words I couldn't understand. No matter how many times I read them, they made no sense. Eventually my head started to ache and I fell asleep while holding them. At my new job, I met a kind woman named Elvira. She was caring and always looked after everyone around her. I slowly fell in love with her and started